What's up, comic book readers? Welcome to another episode of the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. If you're joining us, I'm on the live streams right now. Big thank you to you for participating with us. And if you're catching up on the podcast, thank you too. This is episode 39. Ooh.
Yeah.
And
how old I am.
Hey, there we go. We've hit your birthday. There we go. And let's remind people of what we're reading, what they're tuning in for. This week we have been reading Godbomb from the Jason Aaron series on God of Thunder. This follows up the God Butcher, which we read. Wow, like what was that? Episode 16, 13, 16, somewhere around there.
A while, yeah.
Yeah, so we're following that up. And if you follow Scott on Instagram, you would have seen that this cycle of the choices that we've made are all follow-ups to books that we've read before. So volume 2s and things like that. So we do have them all loaded on the channel already. So if you want to take a look at the thumbnails on there, you can see what we got coming up. Okay, then. So yeah, sequels month. So we are reading Godbomb, as I mentioned, which was published by Marvel in 2013. I did mention it was written by Jason Aaron, and the artist on the book was Esad Ribic. So there we go. And you can find this, if you haven't read along and you want to go back and read it, you can find this in issues 6 to 11. It's essentially the second volume to God of Thunder. Bam, there we go.
Nailed it.
Okay, as always, folks, I'm joined by my co-hosts, and they are the best goddamn gods of the internet you've ever seen, and they are Phil from the YouTube channel Phil's Nerdiverse.
Howdy ho.
We have Shane from the YouTube channel Dawn of Comics.
Oh, hoi hoi.
And we have Scott from the YouTube channel Scott Shelf.
Shumai, everyone. How you doing?
Good, mate. Shumai to you. How are we all? We good?
Oh, great, man.
Yeah, we're almost at episode 40 now.
Crazy.
Mental, isn't
That's
it?
mad.
Yeah, I haven't missed a week.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, I did. Yeah, I missed a week.
Yeah.
I missed 1 week. Does that mean I've got to kind of make up for it and do an extra one? Like,
Well, we all get a week off now, don't we? We all get a day in lieu, so you have to cover for all of us 1 week.
do it on my own. Fair enough. All right, should we meet everybody that's joining us for this episode? We have, I can see Fuzzy Dunlop was in here a while back. So he was 16 hours early and apparently waited all of that time. Says his bum still he's killing him. I'm not surprised you've been sitting there that long, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Tennis ball?
Yeah, he's lost the tennis ball now. He's not everyone's favorite. He's the artist formerly known as everyone's favorite tennis ball. I think that's how we'll refer to him. We have Liam, the Funky Gibbons, saying Heidi ho. Liam's joining us. Howdy to you, Liam. We've got Tom from This Month in Movie saying evening all. We have SCC Stone Cold Comics saying he loves the new thumbnail designs. Thanks a lot, mate. I spent ages on them. Scott agrees. We've got Fuzzy Dunlop saying evening all. There he is. And we also have, I'm scrolling down, hasn't jumped on me yet, folks. Fingers crossed. We've got Adam and Carl joining us saying, hey, folks, howdy to you. Hope you're well, guys. We've got Pete, Triple G Comics. How you doing, Pete? I hope you're well, mate. We also have, is that everybody? No, it's not. We've got Jack Talks Comics. Hey, everyone. Good to be back on the last couple of shows. Good to have you back, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
We got Natalie Cox joining us. Hello, everyone, from me and Daryl. Howdy to you and Daryl, Natalie.
Hey, guys.
We've got Comics versus the World. Evening, gentlemen. I hope you're all well. As usual, I'll catch up on the replay. Have a good one. You too, mate. Thanks for stopping by. Is that everybody? No, it's not. I can just see J7 Comics has sneaked in. Hi, Scott. Hope you're well, mate. First time here. Hi, guys. We'll stick around for a bit and catch on the replay. Thanks for stopping by, mate.
Thanks for joining, bud.
Thank you.
Do I have everybody?
Looks like.
Awesome. All right, then. So let's get into this. We're going to need that synopsis, as we always do, to kick things off. And that is by the person that chose the book. And this week even, that was me. So I'll do the synopsis. Just a quick hello to Chris here from Off My Shelves, saying, hey all, timed this well with the Omni announcement. Indeed, you got a point there. It was announced today that the Jason Aaron God of Thunder series is going to get an omnibus in 2022 as well. So well timed indeed.
Yeah.
We knew
Say
first,
again?
we couldn't say. Yeah.
No, I wish we did. All right, so the synopsis of this one is, I think, where we left Thor at the end of the God Butcher was he just bested Gorr, or we believed he had. I think he chop off his arm. I think he did. Trying to cast my memory back. And yeah, and now we see that Gorr has continued to cause problems, but further down the line in time. So, past Thor bested him, but present Thor and King Thor are having continual problems with him because he has enslaved all of the gods to mine a moon in order to build a bomb that will explode through time, wiping out all gods.
Comic
James
books, eh?
Bond villain.
Yeah, man. Like that's the best I can do for the synopsis, I'm afraid. Like,
Was good.
all right then. Let's kick it off then. Who should go first? Who you went first last time, didn't you, Scott?
I think so.
Shane or Phil? Which one should we do?
Oh, let's go for Shane.
Shane, you've been nominated.
Yay! So the art in this book, the same as last time, just a bit more. The faces are dreadful on the people. I feel like the artist spent most of his time with Gorr, because Gorr is drawn beautifully throughout this book. His face is always great. It's, the way his body's done with the cross hatching, and it looks like charcoal most of the time. It's fantastic. But when it comes to the people, I was having a right laugh. It was every single page. There was a dirt face. There was a shock face. It was every page.
Just for people who may not have seen the episode where we read God of Thunder Volume 1, you had a real issue with some of the faces, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah. For me, faces are very important in comic books. I need to be able to know what the characters are feeling and thinking from their facial expressions. And the only expression they have in this book is that's it.
We have Adam and Coral agreeing with you. A lot of derpy faces. And
more in this one. So many more.
SCC is saying the artwork looks like it belongs in a heavy metal magazine, but yeah, the faces, he said. So it is more of the same in this, isn't it? Realistically,
Yeah.
Like, at least it's consistent.
That's true.
My thinking is, like, to look at this at first glance, the art should be terrific. It does look like it could be like a masterpiece of art, but then you're right, you see the faces and you just think, like, what are they doing? Like, why is their eyes and lips? Why are they all so big and like shocked all the time?
The eyes look like they're gonna pop out.
Yeah. And it's like, because now that we know this from the first volume, whenever Shane brought it up, it's one of those things that once you see it, you can't unsee it. So it's now it's like ruined for me now. It's like I'll always just see it from now on in. But my other big issue with the art, and I think I said in the first volume too, is I don't think the fight scenes, like the action scenes, are very good at all. I find it hard to kind of follow what's happening in the action scene. Yeah,
very blurry.
I thought they were brilliant in this time round. I
agree with Scott. I thought they were really good.
See, the scene where the two gods fell, and this is in the origin. I think it's actually 64. It was Gorr's kind of motivations and origin story. The two gods, like this black god and the gold god, like they were fighting, but I don't really know what they were doing to each other. They just seemed to be like beside each other. There was no kind of action. Like
I think they had landed, having already stabbed each other or something, because daggers or swords were both through each other's chests.
Yeah, that's how I took it as well.
Yeah.
Well,
but no, I agree with Scott on this one. I thought the battles were a little bit more interesting in this one because, as in the first volume, let's be honest, the big battle in that takes place in the cave, doesn't it? With Gorr and Thor, and then other people turn up. But this kind of goes cosmic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just them hitting Gorr away. Like he just goes flying, and then they'll hit him again, and he'll go somewhere else.
What else do you do with a hammer?
Well, you put your hand at the back of his head and you hit him in the face until he has no face left. That's
and
what
they've got two hammers as well, so one either side of the face. It's just like there's ways around it.
But they were just battering him into a planet and then into the planet, and it was just blurred action. It was just blurred streaks of
Okay. See, I kind of liked that though. I like the pastel's not the right word. Muted was probably a better word. I kind of liked that. Like it wasn't over the top, even though it was like a big space battle. It was very kind of muted and a bit washed out, and I kind of liked it. I thought
I didn't mind it. It just wasn't defined very well. Like because when they were blurred, it was literally just a head and a torso being blurred across the page. So a little bit lazy, personally.
Okay.
Just
Scott?
shows the speed, I think. About the fights, I think. Is it weird to say that I found the fights more coherent? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could follow them more than in the last volume. You know what I mean? Maybe coherence is the wrong word, but yeah, they were a lot more. I could follow them better. I knew exactly what was going on, and the fights were definitely my favorite part of the art. Yeah, like the faces, fine, like whatever. Like you see one, you've seen them all. But I just thought it was some scenes were fantastically done. Like I think one of the, like, I haven't picked this as my favorite page, but one of the pages that did stand out for me was when they unveiled the Godbomb for the first time. Like it was a massive 1-page spread, and it was just there. Big one, one big bomb, and I thought that was awesome. Like the scale that Ribic was able to draw and make look fantastic, I thought was great. And the other scene towards, I think it was like just after halfway, where they were just for 1 page fighting in the sun, and you have one panel where the sun is just there and it's just turning black. All the Gorrness is coming off and stuff.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm kind of glad it was consistent. I know we're joking about the faces and the style and stuff, but we've read a lot of books where the style has changed, like midway through a series, and it's irritated us. So I kind of like the fact that at least it's consistent. I can't get away from those faces, definitely in the artwork, but I agree with everything you said there, Scott, about the artwork. And just catch up on some comments here. Chris says, Phil, he said he's surprised here that scene, I think when he's talking the two gods, the black and the gold one, that plays out in the book, in King in Black story arc, Venom, and I know he's been absorbing all the Kate stuff talking,
I know the references to the Necro sword and stuff. It's just that in that scene, the two gods, like they weren't. I suppose you made the point that they weren't really moving because they were both essentially dead and falling from the sky. Like that stabbed each other, but I just think the fight scenes just didn't. I just don't think the action was done very well. I think they concentrate too much on trying to make it look really nice and pretty overall, as opposed to fights.
Yeah, Triple G here is saying he said he loved the art, but he's worried now that he's not paid enough attention to the faces, so he's scared to go back and look in case it spoils it for him. Don't go back.
Like, I want to say character designs were still great. It's just the shocked faces. It was every other type of face was great.
Yes.
Sad faces, happy, whatever. But it was just always that.
They were too over expressive, weren't they?
Very over exaggerated.
Like when they were sad, the bottom lip came right out and they had a massive underbite. But when they were just standing there normally, gorgeous faces, fantastic. It's just too much emotion for the situation. They were shocked at everything.
And just to reiterate what you said, like Gorr is drawn incredibly well.
Why isn't anyone saying gorgeously? Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Oh dear me. Oh, that's a thumbs down right there, and I'm going to do it myself.
Scott loses a point today.
Right, should we get to the pages then and take a look then, so we can show folks a little bit about what pages we enjoyed.
Did any of us double up this week?
No, surprisingly enough. Before we get to that though, just say a quick hello to Beth. He's sneaking in there. She's cooking her tea. She was a bit late. I hope you had something nice, Beth. Right then, let's get to these pages. Shane, you kick us off then, mate.
Oh, so this was one I picked because of Gorr. Like, I mean, I love this part of the book. Like, all three Thors threw everything they had at him, and he still bested all three of them. But I just love the way he's done with that cross hatching. It's like charcoal leading up, but then the face is like painted and beautiful, and like not beautiful, like he's an ugly son of a. But I mean, the art is gorgeous for the face.
Yeah.
And it just looks fantastic, the way he's just fading into the smoke on the... Yeah.
You know, when you said charcoal there, I did think briefly, like I tried to work out what he'd maybe used to draw. And I couldn't work it out whether it was watercolor or whether it was charcoal or whether it was a mix of things or anything. Like, I thought it was really done well, to the point where I couldn't really tell what he'd actually used to get that effect.
Probably Windows Paint, but...
Doubt that.
But yeah, I love that page.
That's a great page.
Yeah.
And what a great way to finish that issue. Like, that was the last page of issue 9, I believe it was. And what a great cliffhanger to go out on, him besting.
To be continued, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if I was buying this in issues, I would be desperate to get the next one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think people were, though. This was a hugely popular run back. How long ago now? Nearly 20 years ago? Whew.
Was it really? Wow.
Nearly, almost. A couple of years off, I think. This is 2013, wasn't it? So
it's 8 years.
8
years.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, my God. You know my maths isn't any good.
See, this is the thing, that this book had time travel and stuff like that, and we're all confused. You know, it happens.
This page is so simple, but it's got such a strong presence in it, isn't it? It's just, it's just a bit of fog, and then one very ominous character in the middle, and it just stands out so well. It's great.
But he's made sure to put a little bit in the background just to give it a little bit of definition.
I really love the fact that he's like standing there, like shoulders back, puffed out chest and all, like make ready the bomb. Like, it's just like, it's just like more assertive or something more.
This was only like 3 or 4 pages after he panicked when he got bashed into the planet and he felt fear for the first time.
Did any of you guys feel, though, that the design of Gorr for volume 2 in this was you can see that there was definitely an advancement from volume 1? Did you feel like that? I definitely felt like the character, the visually, almost developed as it went on.
I think that's to show maybe he's got more control of the Necro Sword. Maybe, because his outfit looks great, doesn't it? And it does get in more detail throughout. And he's got his arm as well. He doesn't have an arm, so he's made an arm for himself using this as well. Yeah,
SCC saying, I think he's referring to what may have been used. He says almost looks like lead pencil for the crosshatch. Yeah, true. Could be as well. Yeah. Okay. Any more on this one?
Nope.
Looks great.
Okay, then let's move on to this one.
This is mine. And I feel like I cheated because this is like 4 pages, but I'm going to talk about it. So it's just the idea, like, I talked about the action scenes and I didn't really like them, but I like this, like the first part of this, like the 3 Thors. Obviously, they've jumped off their ship, they're coming to battle, and they're all battle ready and stuff. And King Thor looks fantastic, by the way. Like King Thor looks awesome. And then obviously you see kind of Gorr of all this, whatever his mysterious black power stuff, whatever it is. And I mean, I just think it was kick ass. And the bottom part of this, like, again with the fight scenes, they're not too. I don't really understand where this hammer, like, who's swinging this hammer. You see the kind of like the flight pattern of the hammer, like where it's going. Like, it's hard to just little things like that, because I was like disconnected to the scene, if you know what I mean.
I know you can follow it because middle Thor throws the hammer, and then you kind of see it in the background. You kind of see its path in the background, and then the next panel that isn't on here, it comes back into his hand.
I like the fact we're calling him Middle Thor now.
Yeah, I don't know what else to call him.
He's the Avenger Thor, isn't he?
Yeah, Avenger Thor.
Yeah. Actually, while we're talking, Thor's come up there. Chris is asking, which was your favourite Thor? The young one, always for him. I'm gonna say King Thor for me. Phil?
Yeah, King Thor, 100%.
Shane?
It was King Thor until the end of the book.
Okay. Scott?
I'm sticking with Middle Thor.
Middle Thor for him.
Yeah, he was just great. I loved him at the end of the book.
Just a
medium-sized
quick
Thor.
hello to Martin there from M3 Lines Information Booth as well. All right then. Anyone else on Phil's page?
I nearly picked this page, like
Really?
well, part of this page, and like
The top part.
yeah, the top part, yeah. And what I loved about it the most was the fact that these characters are the same person, but you can see they've all got different fighting styles.
Yeah.
Like just from how they're preparing themselves for this first hit and stuff. And I thought that was so cool. You can just tell like their experience and their knowledge of all this stuff is just
I think that was very reflective in their personalities though, because even though you had 3 Thors, they were all very different.
Yeah.
Massively different.
See, that's the thing too with young Thor, like in that picture there, he's obviously went first because he's the kind of one just goes in without kind of really thinking. He just kind of dives into the trouble, and then King Thor's obviously like, well, we have to go now. We can't, not go in with him type thing. So yeah, it's like a personality. So it's the experience of battle, I suppose, isn't it, as well? Because King Thor's the All Father, and obviously Middle Thor is the one who's worthy as well. He has the hammer, whereas young Thor isn't worthy. So he's left a little stupid little battle axe.
King Thor kind of makes references when he's in that battle, and he says like it's good to feel the All Father power again. Like he says, it's been a long time since he's kind of felt that strong, like since he's felt like a god. So they all come from different angles, not just I think within style, but within their kind of like their reasons for fighting and who they are as people. I think, which I quite enjoyed that about this. The time hopping, I think, was a bit confusing. I can't say I followed it without having to concentrate. Like I really did have to try and keep up. But I really did enjoy it.
I thought that was done a lot better in this one, actually, because the Thors were all together. Yeah, because when they were all separate, it was a lot harder to follow in the first book, but because they're together.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think that's a fair point.
I've always enjoyed time travel stuff. So that kind of aspect was definitely a bit of me. Like I could follow it fine and I was okay with it. And I really enjoyed that aspect. Probably one of my favorite reasons of, to read this book was the time travel. Yeah.
On the other side of that coin, I kind of almost hate time travel in books sometimes. And you have to think too much about like where you're at the minute. And it did get slightly confusing, but I also like the way that I think it was King Thor, he made a remark about it in terms of time travel and how much he hated it himself. It's almost like, he's like letting fans like, I hate this too, but here's the story you're getting. And I
think that's the problem with time travel stories. They like, I think when you can make them too convoluted sometimes, where you're putting that much kind of expectation on people to kind of know where they are at a given point that they can't actually concentrate on the main plot of what's going on. And I don't think this crossed over into that at all for me. I don't think it did.
No, they kept it simple with the timelines. You knew you had 3 Thors, 3 timelines, and Gorr was appearing in those timelines to mess with each of the Thors.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Sorry, on the timelines. So King Thor's from, I can't remember how many millennia in front he is, and he gets brought back to this timeline, but it's not the same timeline, because obviously he would know then. Do you know what I mean? He would have that experience of young Thor and as Avenger Thor.
He tells him that's not how time travel works. It's complicated.
Well, that's complicated. He makes reference to that. I know that, but it's just like this. We've all watched Endgame, and they referenced it as well, and they referenced Back to the Future. If time travel for me is Back to the Future, and that's it, nothing else. That's how it works.
But at the end of this book, when they all go back to their times, it does say that their memories of each other fade.
Yes, it does.
That's probably why he doesn't remember meeting his future self.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
does.
That's how they tied that off with a nice
little well spotted. Just quickly,
you must read comics.
SCC says he found the jumping fine to follow. Yeah, I think I did as well. Like, I don't think it was an issue. I just think I did have to kind of concentrate on it. But having this conversation here, I think what Shane said there has memorized. It is actually better in this than it was in that first volume. I do agree with that. Just a quick hello as well to Highland G joining us. Howdy to you, mate. We've got J Rails 247 joining us as well. Howdy to you. All right then, folks, I'll do my page and then we can get on to some of the writing. I chose...
I'd like to do my page as well. That'd be nice.
I chose this one. No, you can't do a page. You sent yours in too late.
Oh, what?
I chose this one.
Nearly chose that as well.
I think that is an awesome piece of illustration right there. You have old King Thor literally stuck on an asteroid or a rock or something.
How is he stuck to it, though? I did examine the page for quite a while. I couldn't see any bolts.
I think it's the force of it. He's being shot out on it, and he's pinned to the rock, isn't he, as the blasts going out?
Okay.
It said he's nailed to it, so I see a few little black, a few black flickers, or the kind of like, I don't know what it's called, like the Gorr's kind of black power stuff. Maybe it's holding them into it.
Yeah,
you can see it like
fired him out, didn't he?
Around his bicep and stuff. It's just like kind of roped round him, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what
I was looking for actual nails, like when he nailed the other guy to the cross.
I love this. I love the colours and stuff and everything. The only thing that I wished was a bit better was, the trails of some of these kind of like minor. Yeah. I just wish they had a bit more. They just look like beams of light with like a rock at the end. Like,
they were solid.
A bit better. Sorry?
They were solid colours, weren't they? Yeah.
That's what I said about the blurring earlier on. Yeah, the blurring.
Yeah, I see what you mean in that. But maybe he did that to keep the focus on certain. Maybe that's where he wanted the focus on King Thor and the asteroid. So not putting too much around it to take your eye away from that. But I really enjoyed that page. When I turned that page and saw that, I was like, wow, that is a great illustration right there.
I really like the use of the light, as in like his legs are almost like aren't visible because like the light from the obviously maybe like the heat or whatever from the comet traveling through and stuff, so it's all kind of blurred with the light and stuff. I just kind of like the way they've done that. Like these things, you don't have to do that. You can easily just draw the rocket or draw the comet as it is and have it, but it's just he's kind of paid more attention to kind of making it more, like say, not blurry but whitewashed almost or whatever. Just at the edges.
Yeah, I think he's just taking those details away, hasn't he? And like you said, maybe he's used light to kind of wash that detail away so that your eye stays on there. But again, you're like, that's clever. I mean, whether you visually like that or whether you don't, that's very clever technique to use, I think. But yeah, that's the page I chose though. And I think lastly we have Scott. We've had to let Scott do this. He's going to kick off otherwise.
I'll keep it quick, right? I absolutely loved how mental this page was, right? It was young Thor riding in on a space shark, hitting Gorr as hard as he could with a hammer that wasn't even Mjolnir, creating a black hole, flying through, carrying on the fight through the black hole, and landing on a moon or a planet and just battering him. That was awesome. I mean, like, to just the sheer power he had to have without Mjolnir. That's the bit that blew my mind, was just to shoot him and create a black hole was amazing. This page was just mental.
The top part of it looks like a Pokemon battle. But yeah, see, I think it would have been nice had he, during the battle, I don't know, maybe caught one of the Mjolnirs and just got one swing out of it, just like...
He couldn't pick it up, though, because he tried.
I know, but he's doing all this to save every god in existence. I mean, if that doesn't make you worthy of picking up a hammer, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
Highland G was saying it's like sun glare. I think he's referring to the, when we were talking about the page there with old Thor on the asteroid. And SCC is saying it's a cosmic wet dream. You're not wrong, man.
I loved it. But yeah, there we go. That's fine. Nice and quick.
I quite enjoyed the space shark part though. This did get completely mental at points as well, didn't it? There's no getting away from it.
Young Thor hits medium Thor with the space shark on the boat, doesn't he?
Yeah.
King Thor is just like, you just got hit in the face with a shark.
Yeah, and that's like that old comedy gag, isn't it? Like getting slapped in the face with a fish, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a weird thing to put in there. But it did get crazy, but it never came off the rails to the point where it was confusing. It was just a bit nuts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, then, folks.
That's great as well.
Yeah, I think that all through the book, I think the colours were pretty awesome in this. I don't think there was anything that bored me in it visually. Even I know we've mentioned the faces and stuff as well. Even that was kind of entertaining to a point, you know.
Yeah, they're not boring. No.
No, exactly. You know. All right, so let's move on to the. Sorry, Phil. Go on.
I was going to say they're not boring. They're comical.
Yeah. Let's move on to the writing then, and see what we thought about. I know we touched on quite a bit of it already, but Scott, you want to start with the writing?
Yeah, the writing was good, but like, I feel like if I was speaking to you, like you've all read this book, right? If I just went travel, slavery, fighting, you would understand the whole book. Like I have just mentioned the entire book. They traveled a lot to find Gorr. There was slavery in there to build the Godbomb, and they fought Gorr. That was the whole story, essentially. Like
you just reworded this book.
Yeah, and I was just like it's a really good book, but like they drag it on, don't they? And I think this book is better visually than it is written. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. But like don't get me wrong. Like I enjoyed the story, but they dragged it out. There wasn't a lot happening. It was just long.
Yeah.
See, for me, I think it's the other way around. I think the writing on this was slightly better than the visual representation of it for me.
The writing was good. I don't know. I can't put it into words what I'm trying to say. Like the themes of the trade. Whatever. Carry on.
I think both of these trades could have been compressed into one trade.
Oh God, yeah, we had this issue in the last episode.
But not all 11 issues. I don't mean it should not be 11 issues long.
No.
There's not enough story for this trade.
This is, I think, what we said in the first trade should have ran from issue 1 to issue 6, and then the second trade should have ran from 7 to 11, I think, and they would have both been nice and compact there. I think the fact that this starts off with issue 6, yet the Godbomb story arc doesn't actually start till issue 7, if you're reading in trade, makes this a little bit kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that issue 6 really, really put me off this book. The origin of Gorr. Oh my God. Oh, wow. So his entire backstory is, life was hard and no one helped me. Mwah. That's his backstory.
No, it's not that no one. It's not. Well,
it's everyone else's fault but mine. Mwah.
From what I'm taking off his backstory, it's more along the lines that like his mum and everyone, all the people of his race are promising, like if you pray to your gods, they will come through. But yet he's left kind of like licking slime off the rocks to survive. There's been no rain or something for however long it's been. Yeah. So nothing grows. There's nothing to eat, and yet everyone around him stupidly still prays to these gods that they're going to help them one day. But then all this other stuff happens, so essentially just loses faith. Like,
but we're just to interject here. He loses his wife and children as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. And not just one child. Was it 3 or 4 children he lost? Wasn't it?
Yeah. But that's his own fault. You're on a planet where the sun doesn't set. There's no food. There's no water. Why are you popping out kids like a Pez dispenser? Stop it.
Accidents happen. It's like
No. If you do not have the water in your body to cry for your son, you certainly don't have the liquid in your body to create a child or the energy. So stop that right now.
Well, we don't know the anatomy of whatever Gorr species is, do we? Do you know what I mean? We don't know how that works. But no, I'll be honest. I think I don't know whether I'm in the minority here, because I can see that SCC agrees. He says, "Yeah, I didn't need Gorr's backstory. I liked him more as a mystery villain. It could have been a couple of pages, not a whole issue." I'll be honest. I enjoyed his backstory. I really did.
I like backstory,
especially after reading Volume 1. I just wish that that backstory, because we've read in trade, was in the first trade. It would have been a nice way to end that off for me.
But it just I lost all respect for him as a character. Like I didn't like he might have been a threat, but he wasn't interesting after that. He was just a whiny bitch that just, life was hard, so I'm just going to take it out on everyone else. So I just completely lost interest in him.
For me,
hey, like Wait. Let me just catch you with some comments because they're coming in here. Fuzzy Dunlop saying, "Did Shane just go all Jeremy Kyle? Wasn't expecting that." It's a good point there, mate. And Coral is saying it is quite fun. Thor does essentially solve the problem of the Godbomb by hitting it with 2 hammers instead of 1. That's a good point. I nearly chose that as my page as well. The one where he was hitting and he was holding the energy.
So when he held those 2, it kind of gave me the Captain America holding Mjolnir feeling when he had 2 hammers. I was like, ooh.
It's great.
We've got Triple G comics here saying love the backstory issue, really fleshed him out for Pete. I'm not wearing them, Pete, thanks. And Chris says they didn't have food, let alone any contraception. It gets boring on a hot planet, says Chris.
You can't deny them every pleasure in life. You know, they have to have something to look forward to.
Use the ribbon method.
Anyway, in terms of his origin, like I actually really like the fact that, like, if you consider the first volume as well, like, you get a complete kind of story of what his motivations are, and the fact that he's now transcended, is the right word, and a god himself. He doesn't even really think it, but people see him as a god. So then he obviously then kills his own wife because, like, don't call me a god. I hate gods, and so he kind of gets confused himself. But even you know, he obviously what's the word? Kidnaps all these gods and makes them slaves to build this bomb and stuff. And at the very end, obviously, it goes back to the first issue in the run where a girl prays out to Thor for help. Her planet's dying, there's no rain and stuff. And he comes down trying to help her, and then this whole thing happens. And, like, he's like, well, we've got some spare gods floating about here. Do you want one? But, like, I just like the way the kind of story went that direction. Like, you get his real disdain for gods. He becomes a god, and then he just kind of.
I really liked it, and again, it's kind of like, you know, that age-old. There's been many, like, books and novels and, you know, songs and lots of art of, you know, man versus God, and that, you know, you look at Moby Dick. You know, that whole thing's a metaphor for, you know, him and his issues that he has with his God. I kind of found that as one of these stories, you know, but it kind of went a bit further than that, because it wasn't just one god, it was all gods that he had the issue with, and the magnitude of that just shows you how pissed off and wronged he must have felt, you know.
Like, he spent 900 years creating a bomb that's going to kill all the gods through time.
I just felt like it just made him a weaker character because his motivations were just so basic. Like, it would have made more sense had he been like, if he was the very first god and all of a sudden these other gods came and they were taking worshippers from him. So maybe, like, he wanted to kill all the gods to get his worshippers back. But just because, you know, life's hard on a barren planet.
But I think like, his family believed that the gods would sort them out. So he wanted to destroy all gods, like, through time, so humanity would never need to rely on these gods and actually get the motivation to go out and do stuff themselves instead of waiting around. Oh, God, please feed me. You know, so I get it. And, like, I've got to say, like I said in the last book, like, I loved Gorr. Like, he's done it again. Like, for me, he's a fantastic, just mental villain who's got this weird logic that you kind of agree with. For me, and I was like, yep, okay, you know, like Ultron. And
don't you find it that those always make for the best villains, though, where you can almost see their logic, you know? So you have kind of, you have an understanding of why they're doing what they're doing. And I completely agree with you, Scott. I think Gorr was one of those villains for me, and I loved him in this. And I wish, and I know we know that they don't stay gone, but I kind of, you know, forgetting how this ends, I hope we see more of Gorr in the future somewhere. I really do.
Yeah.
You need to bear in mind as well, just kind of touching on what Shane said. Like, he actually effectively is weak. Whatever species he is, that's all he is. He's not an actual god with special powers. He stumbles across these powers when the 2 gods and the more evil god, like, here's my weapon, kill this other god who's still alive, like the good god. So, like, he is weak, and the fact that, like, in this issue, his family, his new wife and his son, weren't real. They were like projections or something stemming from his powers, isn't that right?
Yeah.
They weren't real, so it's just like, he is essentially weak and troubled individual. And but yeah, I mean,
I think you see that at the end as well, don't you? When Thor takes that away from him.
Yeah, he's just an animal.
He's
whatever
easily
he is,
defeated, isn't he? He's just like, that's it, and he's gone. It's simple as that. Once you take that necro sword and power abilities away from him, he's very weak.
And essentially, he wanted to stop himself, didn't he? That's why his son helps Thor, which is just a piece of him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And plus, he never had a plan after the bomb. Like it's like he knew it was going to just kill everybody. Like
nutter.
But did he know?
I think it would have been quite interesting, if it had started to affect him as well. That would have been quite interesting to see, so that he could see what he had become.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's good. That I like that.
I really do hope that Marvel sort that out, because they must know they're onto a good thing with the Gorr. Everybody praises this Jason Aaron run, and a lot of that is down to Gorr the God Butcher. Like these two first volumes, they got to bring him back.
That's probably why he's going to be in the next Thor, isn't it? In the next Thor film.
Triple G Comics mentioned him as well. He does say here, I wonder what Christian Bale would do with the character in the next movie. I don't think we're going to spend too long on that, because we had that conversation in the last episode, because we knew Christian Bale was coming. But yeah, I really do hope we see more of him.
Me too.
I really do.
I can't see it, but I also hope.
Do you think this is like a one and done villain for Marvel?
I know he comes back somewhere in the future. I'll tell you that.
Okay,
I won't say anything else.
Not that listen, I'm a big mark for Venom, right? Of course I am. But also the Necro Sword, it's obviously linked in with Null. Like, I think if Marvel were going to focus on a big bad, like a new Thanos, it's not going to be Gorr, it's going to be Null. So like, I just think all the more kind of ones will just.
I don't mean in the comic books I want him to be a Thanos, as in like an Infinity Saga. I would just like to see him as a regular villain that appears up against some of the heroes in the Marvel universe. For me, I would enjoy reading that. Yeah. And we have SCC here as well saying Aaron did 9 years of work on Thor female King War of the Realms, so you never know. That's true, you can never say never. And I don't know, did we say hello to Sean joining us as well?
Oh no, we didn't. Hey buddy.
Yeah, hi Sean. And he's saying it humanizes Gorr there. I think the backstory we're referencing to. And we have Apex Comics in here as well. How do you, mate? Hope you're well. Okay, so it sounds like I don't know. I'm getting mixed vibes from you, to be honest. I enjoyed the writing on this. I'm trying to sit here and I'm going, well, did Scott enjoy this? I still don't think I'm any clear. Did you enjoy this one?
Yeah, man, I did. I enjoyed it. I'm not saying the writing was bad. I'm just saying it could have been condensed a bit more. They just felt like they stretched it out.
Yeah, okay.
That's all.
They dragged it out a bit.
I really liked a few of the gags they had throughout the story as well. So there was 3 women in it who were Thor's granddaughters.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so whenever was shoehorned in, they literally just mentioned that in a panel in the bottom. They're like, "Oh, by the way, they're Thor's granddaughters."
But but I love the way that one of them goes. Like whenever Thor reveals himself, like young Thor reveals himself as Thor Odin's son, and one's all shocked. Can't remember the name of the one it was. She's like, "I can't believe I had impure feelings with my grandfather." Like. So obviously they see Thor all ripped and muscly and stuff. And I know they're not important. They're just little stupid little gags. But I liked all that.
Yeah, that was the young Thor, wasn't it, from the past? Yeah. I got to be honest. I think I said it in the last episode about Volume 1. Still didn't really get on with young Thor, if I'm honest with you.
He was a prick.
Still found him a bit of an idiot, to be fair.
Bullshit.
Yeah, but I think again, King Thor was a standout for me. I really did like King Thor a lot.
I think the last thing I want to say is that I really enjoyed the differences between all Thors, based on their experiences and wisdoms and stuff. It was really cool. You could see the differences between them all. I thought that was great.
But King Thor mentions about Thor, middle Thor, going to live in the sun and becoming a police officer. When did that happen? Because I need to read that.
Detective. He says, he said, did you become a detective and go live in the sun or something? Yeah.
So Is that a real book? Because
I don't know. I don't know. I've not read. I think I said in the last one, like Thor is not usually a thing for me. Like he's not really somebody I kind of gravitate to naturally. You know, because again, I don't really warm to fantasy stuff, and Thor always kind of sits on that kind of Vikingsy mythology fantasy kind of level for me. So if it's not a good run, and I'll say I think this is a good run of this is a good series. I've enjoyed this one, but if it's a mediocre or a poor Thor read, I'll probably just disengage from it. So I wouldn't know. I to be honest, Shane. If anybody else does, if you're watching along or listening, let us know in the comments. Thor becomes a detective, goes live in the sun. When does that happen, folks?
Yeah, I need it because he's then like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, just ignore that. Pretend I didn't say that.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
And I think we'll do the final thoughts and scores. We'll get to doing that as well. But I can see here, Off My Shelves is saying, I've just had to approve that comment because he put the word dick in there. So that took a while to go through, but he says, I loved how much of a dick he was, and his overconfidence and impulsiveness was something that amused me and endeared the young one for me. Yeah, because Chris said that his favourite was young Thor. And J7 Comics is saying, I'm not massively into fantasy / drawn to Thor, but this sounds interesting. This is a good one, J7 Comics. I think, I don't know what your level of reading is, like how long you've been reading or anything, but if you're getting on the Thor wagon, this is a good place to start, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would definitely say so. All right, folks, it's that time.
Can I just
Sorry,
one quick thing before you do that? Did anyone else think the ending was really, really rushed? Like literally, like Thor dies, and the last box on that page is like Thor's dead for the 9th time, and then you turn the page and it's like, no, he's alive again. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but it's like a TV show that's ended. They have to end it. They can't keep dragging it out.
yeah.
So they have to kind of do it.
But it was just so quick. It's like, he's dead. No, he's not. Then why bother killing him off? Why didn't you just have him drop to a knee and just fall? And then the next panel, he's just resting.
But
Why kill him?
It mentioned the Thor Force. It's better than the Speed Force, the Thor Force.
Hey,
It's just showing the strength of King Thor. So.
For one panel, it was such a waste.
I think there's some truth in what Shane says. The ending did happen a little swiftly. I can't say it broke the reading for me, but the whole defeating Gorr. I think, Scott, you're right in the sense the battles were kind of dragged out a little bit, but then the defeating part of him happened very quickly, and then it was just the kind of moving on part. So I kind of see both of you point at different parts of the book there. You know what I mean?
Okay, Sweden.
You mean Switzerland?
Switzerland.
All right, on that note, glasses on, glasses off. We're doing these final thoughts and scores. You know the drill, folks. If you've read along with us this week and you've read Godbomb, drop your final thoughts and scores in the chat. I'll make sure I go through, collect all the scores, and we'll read out what you all thought of the book. Let's go around then and see what people thought. Phil, over to you, mate.
All right. So just for clarity, I suppose the first volume I scored 6.5. Okay, so kind of I'm going to judge it based on that. This obviously completed the story. So as a complete story, I thought it was fantastic. The story from start to finish is great. This arc, I mean, I loved that issue 6. I mean, I know Shane didn't like it. I loved that origin. It was almost heartbreaking. You felt for Gorr. I still have issues with the art. The faces are horrendous. Not horrendous, like they're just silly. They're not needed. And I didn't like some of the fight scenes. Still an issue for me, but I loved the story. The story complete standout for me. And again, I agree with what you're saying in terms of like Gorr's kind of being defeated, and it's almost like they built him to be this big bad and all these kind of motivations to do what he did, but we're like, and he's done with it. It was quite easy to kill him. Again, I would have liked to maybe seen them not survive, but maybe escape or disappear, and you don't really know what happens to him. Bit of mystery that way, but I'm rambling on. I'm going to score it higher than in the first volume because the story as a complete was fantastic. I'm going to score it 7.5 because the art lets it down for me slightly.
Okay, 7.5 from Phil the Money. Shane, over to you, mate.
I enjoyed this more than the first one. I enjoyed the first one, I really, really did. But my problem with that is that it wasn't a complete story, because when I pick up a trade, I want it to be a complete story, and this was the completion of that story, so that was great. Really enjoyed it. The art, the art. We've said everything we can say about the art. The only thing that let this story down for me was that issue 6 and the origin of Gorr. I really did not like it. It's not so much that I want him to be a mystery. It's just when I didn't know his motivations, my brain was going to all kinds of dark places, and they weren't as petty as, his motivations. So, I mean, I should score it more than the first one because I enjoyed it more, but that issue really brings it down for me. So I'm going to give this a 7.
Okay, it's a 7 from Shane there. Scott, you know what to do.
Big fan of the time travel stuff that happened in the book. I thought it was fantastic. I think I'm on the same page as Phil with the origin. I thought it was, it was quite well done, and I enjoyed that, and it kind of fleshed out the motivations of Gorr a bit more, and his thought process. I could understand that a bit more as well. Gorr as a character, again, I've loved him. I thought he's still probably my favorite villain that I've read so far. Really enjoyed him there. Like I said earlier, I love the differences between all the different Thors. How their experiences and stuff change them. But the fact that not much happened, the travel, the slavery, the fights, that's all that happens in the book. But it was still very good. Don't get me wrong. And the art, faces. The shocked faces, but the rest of the art in terms of like the environments and the buildings and other types of scenes like that were gorgeous. So given all that, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, please.
It's an 8 from Scott. There we go. All right. Okay. All right. So let's just go through and see what everybody thinks before we do my final thought. I'm just trying to find the top here, folks. Bear with me. Where do we start? It starts with Pete, doesn't it? Yeah, Triple G. Okay, so Triple G says, I'm a big Thor fan and enjoyed this. Good art, good story, great villain. 7 out of 10 from Triple G Comics there as well. Off My Shelves says, this was the first Thor run I loved, and Jason Aaron's Thor is my Thor. 8 out of 10 from Chris. Adam and Carl come in with a 6.5 out of 10. Enjoyed it well enough, but we're not huge Thor fans. I don't know why I find it hard to say Thor fans. Fans of Thor. Or Thor fans. Oh, it's like a tongue twister. SCC comes in with an 8.5. Enjoyed this one a lot. I can look past its flaws as it's a fun, different take, he says. And we have Tom from This Month in Movies saying same score as Volume 1 for him. It's a 7 out of 10, keeping it consistent. And I think that's it for scores. If I've missed any, folks, just let me know. For me, then, I found this pretty similar to the first one. I got the same enjoyment out of this than I did in the second one. I think I said back when we did that episode that this was Gorr all the way for me, and it was Gorr all the way again. I agree with Phil. I loved the backstory that we got from Gorr. I think it really helped me not understand him, but I kind of, you can kind of see what his motivations were, and that really helped me kind of get to grips with him and what his intentions were and why he was doing what he was doing. I don't think I would have personally, for me, liked it if it was left a mystery. I liked the fact that he had this hatred inside of him and he was twisted by that, They are, it's more of the same from Volume 1 for me. Is this Esad Ribic's best work? I don't think so for me. But it's still great. I agree with what Scott said there. The details and stuff that you do get in some of the pages are phenomenal, but it is kind of let down by some of what Shane had said earlier on about that over characterization in the faces and stuff like that. Again, if you like, the cosmos and you kind of Thor appeals to you and you haven't read this, I think you should. I really do think you should. I think this is a good place for non-Thor fans, like myself, to jump in and read this. Like, it's not too heavy on the whole Asgard stuff, and it's really good. Like Pete said, it's decent art, decent story, decent villain. So I'm going to give it, I think, like Tom, I'm going to give it the same score I gave Volume 1 because I enjoyed this consistently all the way through. And I'll just highlight what Shane says before I shut up. And that's, I think if you're going to read this, read Volumes 1 and 2 together, folks, if you're reading in trade.
Yeah.
Like, don't treat them separately, read them as one thing. You'll get more enjoyment out of it that way. So for me, it's an 8.5. That's why they gave Volume 1 when we did that episode. I'm going to give this an 8.5 as well.
Nice.
Okay, all right. So let's get to it then. So we had everybody reading along with us. We had 6 scores for this one. We had one from the noob who sent it to me beforehand because he's working tonight and he wanted to come and join us and he couldn't. He did pop in and say hi. So we've had 6 scores. He gave it an 8 for people who want to know. So given what everybody else has scored it as well, people participating along for this episode, 7.5.
Nice.
Yeah, I think so. And we gave this a 7.5, a 7, an 8, and an 8.5. That is an average of 7.8.
Nice.
For Godbomb. So I'll just say as well, the first volume, the God Butcher that we read, that came in at 7.1 to remind folks as well. So this has already scored higher than that. So let's see where it falls on the Nerd Herd leaderboard then, folks. Let me get rid of the banner because that was getting away. There we go, folks. 7.8. This should fall in at ninth place. Yep. With Batman. Batman Noel.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. How do we feel about that?
I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's definitely like it is that little bit better than Volume 1. And I think it's because it ties it all off. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the development of Gorr, you get more enjoyment. I think when you read Volume 1, you get the run up to this, this is an exciting villain. And then when you get to the second volume, I think you get that development further on as well, which makes it even more, you know, fun.
And it's got links to Venom too, so that's straight away. That's fantastic.
I think, should we have a lot of swear jar every time Phil mentions Venom? Just to put like a pound in the jar.
Yeah.
All right, then, folks. We're happy with that, it would seem. Let me just, I've forgotten where I was now. Reminding you what we're reading next week. As I said, we're going to be doing sequels or catch-ups, whatever you want to call it. So next week we are reading Scott's Choice, and Scott chose, you want to tell him, Scott?
Dave 2.
Dave 2, and this was published by IDW in 2016. And I think this is, how many issues? 4 or 5? I've forgotten.
4.
I think it's 4.
Yep. It's 4, 5, or 6. Mm-hmm.
I think it's 4 issues.
4 or 5.
I'm sure it was 4. I did look earlier, and my memory's terrible, man. I literally looked at
pretty sure it's 4. Yeah.
I think it's 4 issues.
Yeah.
So that's what we're reading. Dave 2, obviously the continuation of Dave that we also read a while back now. I think that was an early one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. It'd be fun to catch up with Dave and Scotty. That was his son, wasn't it? Scotty.
Yeah. Scotty, always whacking it.
Yeah, I loved Scotty. I thought he was great.
I forgot about that.
All right then, folks. We've just got time. I think that's it. That's us for the Godbomb. That's what we've made of it. Let's just go around and you can let people know what you've got going on this week. Phil, you want to go first?
I've got nothing planned for the channel. I did go live today on their YouTube to show my new comic book day haul. So that's on the channel if you want to go check out that. But nothing planned until my next live, which will be in 2 weeks' time.
Okie dokie. Shane?
Know what's in the box this week as I'm house sitting for my sister, so I can't get that done. But the quiz still has a viewer competition, which is still live. So if you go watch Dawn of Comics Quiz Night 9, you can play along and enter the competition.
When does it end?
The competition ends with the description tells you if you go to the video. In the description below the video. Yeah.
There you go, folks. Head on over and enter that competition. Do you want to remind people what they can win, Shane?
Yes, you're going to win a mystery variant, a Batman variant in Polybag, and also the viewers competition certificate, which is the only prize anyone really wants.
That's the gold right there. Anything else from you then, Shane?
No, that's me.
Mr. Shelf?
So on Friday, I will be joining producer Liam. He's in the chat here as the Funky Gibbons. He's not Liam Cartwright anymore. He's the Funky Gibbons. He is starting a game streaming channel. And as I play games with him all the time anyway, I thought I'd join him. And so together on Friday night at 9:30, we'll be doing our first live game streaming video on Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. It's going to be good fun. We should be doing it for about an hour or two, which would be really fun. And then on Sunday night on my channel at 7:30, we will be doing the next charity auction in support of Endometriosis UK. So we're looking forward to that.
Could you, and this is a serious question, what is endometriosis? I don't know.
It's a condition which affects the lining in a womb, which can then affect the ovaries and the fallopian tubes and stuff like that. So we're going to be trying to raise money to support that.
There we go. Every day's a school day, man. I learned something today. Fantastic. Anything else, Scott?
That's all me.
There we go, then, folks. That's what everybody's up to. I'll do some shout outs to just catch up on some comments here as well. We've got Liam here saying he can't say he's looking forward to Dave too, as he didn't really enjoy Dave, but he will read it. He doesn't like missing a comic book.
Get out, Liam. Go away. You're not welcome here.
Everyone's welcome here. Ignore him, Liam. And we've got we've got SEC saying I have to catch up and read the first Dave. It's not a long read. I think that again was about 4 or 5 issues as well. It's a very short one, but it's just good fun. It was a good fun one, the first one. All right, let's end it with some shout outs then, because I think we're already over the mark here as well. So I'm gonna, Scott, you've got a shout out first, haven't you? Do you want to?
I do.
Go first?
I've just chucked it in the comments. It is for a new Instagrammer called J7 Comics, or I keep reading it as Junction 7 Comics because that's what his logo is. But yeah, he's brand new at collecting. He's only been doing it for a few months, and I thought he could do with a bit of support from everyone here. He's a great guy. I've been speaking to him for yesterday. I was speaking to him. He's a nice guy and likes a lot of indie stuff.
Excellent. There we go. Yeah, I've spoken to him as well, and he's a really nice guy. A really cool dude.
Yeah.
So go check him out, folks. I'll do mine really quick. I'm conscious. I don't want to keep people too long. First recommendation, as I say, if you like what we do, you'll probably like what these people do. A man who probably needs no recommendation. I think everybody knows him. John from John's Comics with Kids. Go say hi to John and check out his channel if you haven't. Probably one of the nicest, smartest people on YouTube, in my humble opinion. So go check out John. We also have Marvelous Comics. Go check those out as well. This is, you may see Firehawk. He joins us sometimes in the chat and does a read along with us and stuff. This is his friend, and they get together and they do reviews on comic book releases and stuff and everything. And I've really enjoyed the reviews because they kind of read my kind of style of what I like. So you might want to check that out as well, folks. And the last one to get through is, Scott's already mentioned him. Go check out our friend Liam at the Funky Gibbons. I've just dropped his link in there, so you can go and subscribe, and you should be able to hit the bell and then be notified of that live that Scott mentioned about 10 minutes ago.
The live is there, ready to set a reminder if anyone wants to do that.
There we go, folks. And Highland G Scott is asking, can we donate some books for you to add to your auction?
Yes, you can. A lot of people have done that, and we would immensely appreciate that. So yeah, give me a message later and we'll sort it out.
Okie doke. There you go. I think, is there anything else anybody wants to add?
All good, mate. Thank you.
Right then. You know what we're going to do now, don't you?
No, what's that thing?
We're going to get our whiz out.
Oh, I've lost mine.
Yeah.
Mine's not here. I'm house.
Oh, here it is.
Right.